dreams, and what they are. Hello once more, thank you for being here with me once again. I hope you are happy and fine today. I am Marie Soirou. On Earth, dreams are immediately taken as something unreal, and the very word, dream, is associated with fantasy and even with falsity, even more so when associated with dreaming while awake, as in daydreaming, which would be the state of mind where a person has all its attention on his or her thoughts, and not on everything that surrounds the subject in the material world, much in a meditation-like state, which in my opinion is indeed nothing other than meditation. It is here where daydreaming gets an even worse reputation than simply dreaming, as it is immediately associated with wasting time, and with being a slacker. I see this as another example of how society heavily discourages thinkers, in favor of obedient servants, who do not have any type of useful or effective creative attention, exactly as David Rockefeller once said, and I quote, "I want a society of workers, not of thinkers," end quote. Imagination and daydreaming are not an empty waste of time. They are consciousness and awareness planning the next thing to manifest into the person's reality. They are our guide, with which we reason which way to go as we navigate through life, and beyond. Everything that exists was once only a figment in someone's imagination, right before that person or group of people got proactive to bring what was imagined into the hard reality of the material world. But what happens when a person goes to sleep and starts to dream? What are dreams as such? I mean the ones we have at night. On Earth, it is mostly or commonly said that dreams are a necessary part of brain function, to process and order what was experienced and what was learnt during the day, while the body rests, as during sleep the amount of repair the body goes through and achieves is outstanding. It is said that dreams are projections of the unconscious, and part of the process of organizing data among the neuronal network, and from my point of view this is partially correct, as long as the definition of what a dream is, doesn't stop there. In my culture, dreams occur when the conscious attention of the subject is no longer in the material world as the body is no longer providing much stimulation as it is in repair. So the soul which does not need sleep stops receiving the overwhelming data stream which is provided by the biological body's 5 or 6 senses while fully awake, therefore it starts to perceive other more subtle realities or planes of existence. As I've mentioned before, the body and the brain with its nervous system are only translators which are there to lock the range of perception of a soul into a narrow preset bandwidth reality which we call the material world, and with it locking out the possibility to be aware of other existential realms. If someone wishes to be able to astral travel, to see ghosts and so on, but cannot, it does not mean that there is something wrong with that person. On the contrary, it means that his or her body is working properly, filtering out everything except the range of frequencies that define the material world, or the world of the living, which are the same thing. It is in those fewer cases where the person can be aware of other realms where the system is not functioning properly, and this partially explains why so many people have reported that after a serious accident or near-death experience, they start to see other realms even while awake, with a subsequent change in personality and interests, which more often than not, end up causing a strong spiritual awakening in the subject, as he or she is aware that death is not the end of consciousness. Awareness, even more, death is a return home to what, and to whom we have always been. The subject going through this process will no longer center his or her wants and needs solely on material necessities, such as social status and the accumulation of wealth, going for mystical subjects and desires perhaps in an attempt to connect more to their spiritual side as that is the one which truly and genuinely represents who they truly are, and of their strong desire to go back home to higher realms, where we all finally reside. When the biological body goes to sleep, and while the brain translator is being repaired, and its neurons are replenishing the chemicals and neurotransmitters they will need to function the next day, the existential frequencies the person's soul is capable of perceiving are no longer filtered, so it starts to be aware other existential realms as its consciousness awareness is almost completely free of biological body filters. Therefore the frequencies it can perceive suddenly expand dramatically. The soul is suddenly free to roam other astral realms, where it experiences what is in its frequency and vibration, in an almost immediate way, where whatever they are thinking and feeling the most, is suddenly manifested in front of them, to be lived. To dream while your body is sleeping is to travel to other realms in the astral. This means that dreams are at least as real as the material world so many call hard reality, as an interpretation that is coming from a strongly materialistic society and culture. For cultures where the awareness and the experience of an individual are what counts when we attempt to define what is reality, it is the experience that matters. Therefore in a dream state the soul is living something that in its experience is reality. When a person goes to sleep, what he or she starts to dream will depend on what the subject has placed its attention on the most. While dreaming manifestation is almost immediate because the soul is placing its attention in higher, less dense, lighter existential realms, whatever will be manifested and lived there will depend on what is going on in the life of the individual, what is stressing him or her out, what emotions they are going through, and on its wants and needs in the physical world. This is why we dream things that are often very related to what we are living while we are awake, and this is also why it is correct to say that it is our unconscious that mostly rules what we dream, but not only. While we dream we are not completely free of our bodies and brain's perception filtering, much of it remains active, but in a lesser or weaker way. This is because the brain is not entirely off while we are asleep, it is only slowed down into longer and slower wavelengths. This causes the person who is dreaming to be able to perceive a very wide range of existential frequencies, which define existential realms within the astral, but as the brain is still functioning, the perception range of a person isn't completely free, as it is still subjected to bodily filtering, and by contrast, at death, all biological body perception filtering are gone, freeing the soul to go back to what it truly is, and what it truly is will depend on its frequency and vibration, on its thoughts and emotions. While asleep, it is your frequency and your vibration which will dictate what you will experience while dreaming, because you manifest what is in your attention the most, where and to what realms you will go, exactly as what happens when you die. Yet while dreaming you are still subjected to a narrow bandwidth of existential possibilities, within the larger astral, and when you die you become your unfiltered true self. It is widely said that when you sleep and you travel astral planes, you are still connected to your body through a silver cord, which while consciously astral traveling, other people there can see, with this being able to differentiate between people who are disincarnated, those who are astral beings, and people who are asleep, or consciously astral projecting. And people, or souls there can find each other in the astral while sleeping, astral traveling, or disincarnated, if their frequency is similar enough, as happens in any other existential realm. For what it is worth, I've never seen such a silver cord while astral traveling or when I'm dreaming, and neither has little Sophia, as she has told me. The silver cord to me may be an interpretation coming from people in the world of the living, where they are still thinking that you actually travel somewhere, as expressed in the very wording they use, such as in astral traveling, while in my culture and in my experience you never go anywhere, as you only switch your vibration and existential frequency to perceive other things you may see as different places, yet you have never moved, as said in the principle of non-locality, which states that everything is here, and everything is now, where there are no distances, and no time from the absolute point of view of higher existential realms, leaving those as only part of the experience a soul is manifesting for itself, using its frequency and vibration. You can control your dreams and you can astral travel with some training and practice, and it is not really that difficult. A good place to start is using your dream state to remove much of the frequencies the body is filtering away from your consciousness and perception. As you learn to control your emotions and your frequency while you are awake, and while you are working on manifesting the best version of yourself and with it the best life you can have, this will also immediately impact your dreams and what goes on in them. But you must work on yourself in a holistic way, doing shadow work, for example, and removing unwanted vices and destructive thought patterns that only cause you to fall into manifestation pitfalls. What you are living in your day-to-day life will impact what you are dreaming in a direct way, so the state of mind with which you go to sleep in is essential, as well as what you eat before bedtime, as your gut also has a strong impact on your consciousness and frequency of thought. And it also can disturb your sleep if your body is spending too much energy digesting difficult things. Besides the unnecessary energy and blood glucose spike eating certain things late at night will give you. Your dreams are a reflection of what is going on in your life and where you are placing your attention the most, and they are a great indicator of what is in your unconscious. Although many dreams are commonly associated with defined meanings, for example dreaming that you are flying is associated with wanting to free yourself of what you are feeling is holding you back in life, the problem with this interpretation is that in the astral planes, you feel free in general, as you manifest anything that you want, and flying there can also be seen as a natural way to move around there. Even though if it is difficult to fly in the dream, it can also mean that the body filter is still active, therefore hindering your flying experience, as unconsciously you still think that it is not possible to fly. This is also an example of the body-brain frequency filter still working while you are sleeping. Even though many common dream interpretations can be helpful as a reference, I wouldn't take those in a literal way. Yet I can make a video about the interpretation of the most common dreams. In my opinion, the only one who can interpret a dream correctly is the person who had the dream itself. Each person is the only one who can give a real significance or accurate meaning to their own dreams and no one else. Thank you for watching my video, and for liking and subscribing for more. I appreciate it a lot. And I hope to see you here next time. Take care of yourselves, and keep dreaming in order to know what nice things to manifest in your lives. With much love, your friend, Marie Soirou.